Hey, we're back out at Sand Wash in Utah, and I came out here to Floy Wash to investigate the eastern portion of this landform out here because there's been several YouTube creators come out, and they always stick to this area next to Ruby Ranch Road, and I wanted to see why. So I went out to this eastern portion. And now I know why. I drove around for 2 hours and I stopped at about 6 or 8 places and found just literally a handful of pieces of jasper and agates. So I didn't film any of it. You're welcome. And so I decided to come back to Sand Wash here. It's my place where I did my very first video. And we hope this turns out to be a little bit better than that one was. Well, anyway, I've gotten down into the drainage here, and it's recently rained, so it's pretty muddy down here in the bottom, although you're still able to find some fairly decent little pieces of stuff here. So I'm probably going to walk a little bit of this drainage, but actually I'm looking at these hills back here. Moto and Mr. Meow did some searching on the hills just beyond these closest hills here and found quite a bit of agate over on those. And I wonder if perhaps it's not washing down here. In fact, I wonder if this little ridge behind us is not more outwashed than anything else, because there are some large sandstone blocks there which are in place. But these others back here, they look like they're covered up with wash material. So I'm going to go check those out. I'm going to walk this drainage here a little bit, and we'll see what we find. I mean, this is promising to start with. So wish me luck. I am going to have to cut this a little short. I budgeted 4 hours to be out here, and I spent 2 hours on this wild goose chase on the east side of Floy. So, yeah, we'll see what we can find in a real quick amount of time. So we found some fairly nice pieces here just as we started. I mean, that's an interesting little agate there. And we have a couple of pieces with color on it. So, see if I can get a little close up on those. Yeah, it's a nice little agate. And the color on that one, I mean, there's a few pieces that are interesting. So there are also, I found quite a few already pieces that are mostly clear or pale. I'm not that interested in them, but we're still down here in the drainage, so we'll see what happens when we get out of this. So here's a little pile of interesting material. We have a pretty good size piece of red material here. I hope it's red. It's actually partially red. It's mostly looks like clear. I'm probably not going to clean these off very well because this mud is extremely nasty. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that one, but I think that might cut fairly well. And we have another piece here with a lot of red in it, but I think I'll leave that one because it's more like a giant flake than anything. And then here's a piece of material that I'm reluctant to clean it off because that mud is extremely sticky. See this bank here has a lot of material washing out. I think I'll walk along it for a little bit more and then head up to those ridges with the stuff washing out of it. So I walked from there along the creek, which is, you can't see it because it's in size there, but I came over to this ridge and I saw all this material on top, which I think is a washout, where it's, over the millennia it has washed away and washed down. But you can see here there's some colorful rock there. It's just mudstone, but it is in situ. You can see a couple of different layers there. So the ridge here is in place. There's some sandstone outcrops further down, but there is a large amount of outwash on top of it. So I'm going to go up on top of this and see what material is coming out. In fact, here's some material that's nice chalcedony. It's supposed to just washed over the top of this. I don't see any place where it's coming out. So anyway, I'll investigate this a little further and let you know what I find. All right, children, don't do this at home. Not that I'm a highly paid professional, but I have done this once. I had to go get my pick, so I know I can do it. So you see this material that's in place here. Just above it, all of this kind of loose material, and in it is some of this red agate, which is buried in here very well. I don't even know why I'm digging this out. It's probably too big for my saw, but it's definitely in there. That is definitely in there good. Whew. Hope this is worth it. I am going to roll this down to the bucket, which is down there somewhere. And I will look at it in just another minute, because there is at least one more right here, which I think is going to be much easier to get out. Yeah. Okay. And I can see a few more, but I think I will come at them from the top instead of this precarious situation here. Whoa. Sorry. Had to stop and get this on the way down. Very nice looking. Another piece here, kind of small. I think I'll leave that one. Pick this one up as I go. Yeah. Good to be back on semi-solid ground. Yeah, I think I'll probably take that as my plus one piece material, but I am not going to carry it around with me. I'm going to leave it here. And I'm not going to climb up that. I'm going to go up the shallower slope here to get up to the top. I think this has had a little more chance to erode, or has eroded longer ago. Because there are some fairly nice little easily accessible pieces in here. You don't have to risk your life. I also have found this, I doubt that this will polish up, but I just really like this conglomerate. Yeah. Oops, wrong piece. Yeah. Yeah, the other nice thing about this is it doesn't have that gooey mud on it that the stuff in the drainage has. Nice colors. Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's a really small but really nice color on that one. Okay, well, let's get up on top here and look around for some more. Actually, I just saw a couple of big pieces down below me. Look like they might be more, what's I'm looking for, more milky or white material. But there's a fair amount of it. So I'm looking at these hilltops, these little rises like here, out in this area. Up here you can see there's loose rock. Sorry if that's some wind noise there. But on top of all these little rises is this deposit of washed out material. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how it got here. I assume it washed down out of these hills, but I did notice that the agates, although agate's pretty hard, it's also pretty fragile when you get those sharp edges. Those sharp edges get worn off pretty easily. And this is still pretty sharp here, so I'm thinking that this must have been a pretty dramatic flood event that washed all this material down. And it's not a slow, 300-year tumble from these rocks over here to where we are now. They would have been all worn off and rounded. So yeah, I think we're probably looking at a fairly dramatic event here. Let's see. Well, that's got some interesting color to it. I think we'll see what we can do with that. But this material, of all this rock that's here, probably about 3 or 4 or 5% of it is this agates. There's that conglomerate again I'm enamored by. So there's a lot of material up here. A lot of it's smaller, but it does have some nice look to it. Head back up here to the bucket, see if there's anything else along the way. I'll try not to make anybody sick with the camera movement. Here we go. Yeah, something that's really small, but that would be very nice if it was, this size. But it's not, so it's staying. I was looking at this piece of material here. It's a little a little different than most of the stuff we see. It's I'm not exactly sure. It's almost like a thunder egg or something. But then I saw this, and again, it's sort of a brachiated piece of material. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I'm going to figure it out later. Some nice material. And this is just the drainage on the way back to the vehicle. Here's another piece, pretty good size. It's got some nice color to it. It's got a lot of white to it also. I think I'll probably leave that. Told myself I wasn't going to collect too much, and I will say that, half my bucket is taken up with my sprayer. So, it's got water in it. It's not as many rocks as you might think. There's a couple of what I think are fairly nice ones. I'll leave that though. This is nice, but it's just almost too small to work with. It looks kind of fragmented. There's another piece there. A couple of pieces in the wall there. Let's see what this is. This is not worth putting in the bucket. Bigger than I thought. Interesting. The key part about this is it is just about the right size for my saw. So I'll put that in the bucket and think about high grading it when I get back to the truck. We'll see what else I have by the time I get back there. And here you see one of those large sandstone formation that's, I guess you'd call it in situ. It's starting to come out of situ. All right. I think we're about done here. We found a new spot for a lot of nice agates. I never did actually collect the material that was on top of this, but I'm going to go back and get that rather large piece that I dug out. I was hoping that would be a little blue in it, but not really. Okay, we made it back to the truck, more or less okay. I did try to jump up on the cut bank, and I did have a spin out in one of the pockets of mud down there. I think the extra weight contributed to that. So here's one of the rocks I picked up. Again, I think that's got some good color to it, but boy, it looks really fragmented. That might not make it back home. Here's one that I got. Again, it's fragmented, but it does have these little blood droplets in there. That's what I call them. That I like them in this pigeon blood agate. It may be that there's only a few in there, but at least they're there. This is one of the last ones we picked up. I'm not sure what it is, but if I can make something out of that, I think it'll look pretty interesting. I don't even know if it'll take a shine or not. One thing I did think about is that a lot of the really nice material in here is also very small material. I mean, I suppose a person could make something out of this or this, but it would have to be a fairly small piece. This has some interesting color to it, but I don't know if that's just staining on the outside or if it goes through. I guess we'll have to wait and see when we cut it, because that one will go home with me. Some of this material has nice color, but I'm not sure that it will necessarily hold through. Here again is one of the later pieces I picked up. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to cut, how it's going to polish, but I guess we'll eventually find out. And just one or two of these smaller pieces. I do like that one. I don't know if those seem to be little pockets of white in there. I guess on the other side they do show up a little bit. Again, fairly fractured, so not sure exactly how that's going to work out. I hope I can make something out of this. It does have some nice striations, nice color in it. So looking forward to try and get something out of that. And then last but certainly not least, this bad boy. Yeah, it's got some, I don't know, maybe I can't really see the viewfinder, see how that looks, but I do think, I say my saw is fairly small, but I do think I could actually break that in half and put it on the saw enough to get it to cut into some slabs. Whew. Hey, I would really like to apologize for any wind noise. I came out here without my wind muff for this thing. I didn't think it was going to be that windy, but if it is, I apologize. So I came out here, I gave myself like 4 hours to come back to Sand Wash, or actually this general area out at Floy. Then I came back here to this place where I started at Sand Wash, and even though it rained, it's muddy, it did clean off some of the rocks, and we did find this area here with all this outwash on it, and some really nice material in there, a little fractured, colors are nice, and it's good variety, but I think it's just washed down from other deposits that some other YouTubers have documented up there, and I'll put those, I'll try and link their videos in the description. So yeah, I guess that's about it for today. I have a small bucket full plus one really heavy piece that I hope I'm able to get cut open, because it does look like it has some good color and some good structure in there. Maybe some little features, some clear circles and stuff in it. So anyway, like and subscribe. Probably in the next video, I'll need to talk to my subscribers and people who follow this fairly regularly. I don't know if you've heard, but YouTube has just doubled the requirement for becoming monetized. And so I'm toying with the idea of doing something like buy me a coffee to offset some of the costs. It should be more like buy me a gallon. But anyway, we'll talk about that a little more, just do a little foreshadowing here on this video. Again, like and subscribe. It's the best way to grow the channel, and tell your friends, and I'll call it good from here. I'll get home for dinner. Thanks. Bye.